the 50th anniversary today of the stock market didn't translate into gains. How would you characterize trade today on the bourse?
Well, the index was down today by about 0.4%, essentially a continuation of a trend we saw towards the end of last week. The interpretation in the market is that the index and stocks in general are reacting to the announcement by the central bank concerning the conclusion of merger and acquisition arrangements among the rescued banks. Because of the deadline CBN has announced, to sort of drag down interest in those banks, and that has pulled the market down. You mentioned the 50th anniversary of the stock exchange today. It's a good development. I mean, everyone is in a celebratory mood, but essentially that didn't translate into gains on the exchange today.
Which were the day's top movers? We have had a lot of volatility in those banking stocks. Have any of them managed to recover some of those losses?
Based on information reaching me, none of them have recovered those losses, but we continue to look to the signals being given by the CBN to determine the prospects of those stocks.
Now let's move on to the cement sector. Lafarge WAPCO recently announcing that it's going to be raising money in the bond market, set to raise around 50 billion naira. Now we also have had some reports recently that it's going to be putting in place measures to increase its production capacity from 2.5 million tons annually to 4.5 million tons annually. I'm assuming that the money it's going to the market for is to increase this production capacity?
Not necessarily. I think in 2009, the company successfully syndicated about $300 million to finance the expansion project. I think it is called Lakatabu project. Essentially, once that project is completed, it's going to double Lafarge WAPCO's production capacity and improve its distribution options. So the interpretation is that some of that money will go to refinancing its existing debt. Lafarge WAPCO in Nigeria has historically funded from internally generated cash, but we saw a departure when it syndicated that money last year. So the bond issuance is a continuation of its capital raising efforts. Basically, we think it's mainly to refinance the expansion funding, and we also think that the company is looking to improve its distribution capacity. There was a recent directive by the federal government to cement producers to reduce prices, and they have identified the distribution and logistic costs as a major contributor to the price, the final price that the consumer pays. So a lot of the major producers, Lafarge WAPCO inclusive, are focusing on improving their distribution capacity. I'm aware that Lafarge WAPCO has started a plan to acquire trucks, about 1,000 trucks, and also improve its distribution sales points in the Nigerian market.
Dangote Cement also coming out saying that it's improving its sales distribution systems and also increasing its capacity, their production capacity. So all this is going to translate into depreciating prices for cement. Those prices have been skyrocketing. How is this going to translate into full year earnings, given the fact that we have this high production coming online, but then again prices which are going to be coming down as we have heightened competition?
Well, if we look at Lafarge WAPCO, one of the major challenges it had over the last 2 years was its energy costs and then its input costs as a result of depreciation of the naira. Yes, the company is increasing its production capacity and its distribution capacity, and we think that would translate to improved turnover. However, the company needs to watch its costs, and we think that if it's able to manage its costs, they will translate to positive earnings. But, you know, doubling your capacity is, the company's plan to double its capacity is definitely going to have a positive impact on earnings.
Now, given the fact that the market has fallen back in the last few sessions, where would you be putting your money? Do you see any stocks which are offering particular value for the rest of the week?
I think we're still looking at, we still think Lafarge Wabco is a good buy. For now, we're watching what is happening in the banking space, and we'll continue to watch that to determine what stocks to play in.
Of those bank stocks, which stocks would you be putting your money into, and which would be steering clear of given the uncertainty at this stage?
I think we'll focus, if we focus on the sectors, banking stocks will continue to remain attractive. We're looking at, we think that the cement sector, Lafarge, Wabco, Dangote Cement, still have good prospects. We think that there are still good prospects in the brewery sector, especially because of the recent activity, M&A activity in that space, with Heineken increasing its hold in the Nigerian market with recent acquisitions. So we think that those are interesting sectors to watch.